All right, I think we're live. So, wow, it's been a while since I've done this. Just getting set up here. Bear with me, I'm not quite in chat yet. Just gotta get into my own live stream so I can open up the chat window, pop it out like a ninja. Stand by, stand by, stand by. Okay, got chat open there. Popping it out. Waiting for the window to load. Hey, Amanda. How you doing? How's the job situation, if you don't mind my asking? Been a little concerned, not gonna lie. No, I closed the window too early again. I always do that. And also just a technical thing. How's my audio? Is there an echo? I sometimes have an echo for like no reason. And I have the mic pretty far away from me right now, so good to know if the sound is okay or not. Will Brigham, welcome. How do I sound? Do I have an echo? Audio sounds perfect. Ooh, perfect. That's nice. I'll take perfect. Thanks, Will, for helping out with the sound check there. Appreciate it. Just doing a little social sharing right now, getting the live stream, posting it to a variety of Facebook groups. And of course, the core one is Small YouTubers Boost, which is what brings us all here today. That's my big group. It's awesome. 95,000 small YouTubers. It blows my mind. A year ago, we were at like 32,000. So it's been a hell of a year. But yeah, I mean, just constantly that group, you guys, I am amazed by the support I see people giving each other. And like, I'm not talking support like sub to me, watch me, although there'll be some of that. And if it's sincere and you enjoy it, that's fine. But it's like the substantial stuff. It's like people, you know, they need to know how to do a technical thing. They need to understand how the algo works or what the rules around copyright are or whatever. And there's always people that are willing to step up and say, hey, you know what? I've been there. I've learned about it. Let me share the information with you. I also love seeing collabs come together in the group. That's awesome as well. I've done a few myself, most recently with Angela Lin. She was in town from Taiwan, and we went running around downtown Vancouver doing a scavenger hunt. Her version of the video is up on her channel. I haven't gotten around to editing my half of it yet, but stuff like that. It's great seeing it, because I believe that what really brings people together, whether it's a creator and their audience or just a bunch of members in a Facebook group, whatever it is, I believe that it's about shared beliefs. And one of the things that I believe is that YouTube should be a fair shot for everybody. Just because you have a little bit more technical knowledge doesn't mean that your content's better. It doesn't mean you've got the better idea. So what I want to do, what I believe, is I want to democratize YouTube. Kind of arrogant, right? I want to democratize it a little bit more in the little small way that I might be able to. So, for example, you know, if the other day somebody didn't know what an info card was, they were like, "Well, I was watching a video. This thing in the top right-hand corner of the video popped up. What is it?" And so, you know, I went in and I was like, "Hey, you know, this is what it is. It's a you know, it's something that you can put into your video so long as there's no copyright claims against it, and it can link to another video, another channel, a poll, an external website." So I took a couple minutes, explained it to them, and that person now has that information that might make them more successful. And so I like that. I like getting those barriers out of the way. And because, you know, as I was kind of learning YouTube myself, oops, you know, I would run into those barriers and terminology. Somebody just commenting on today's video on Vacation Impossible. So if you don't know me, my name is Ray. I'm the admin of... Oh, that's bright. There we go. I'm the administrator of Small YouTubers Boost, which is a Facebook group, facebook.com/groups, Small YouTubers Boost. It's up there at the top. 95,000 small YouTubers strong and growing every day, by like 100 a day on average lately, I'd say, if not more. And so my primary channel is Vacation Impossible, which I actually have up here because self-promotion. Can't miss an opportunity to plug the channel. And so, as you can see, we're creeping up on 1,600 subscribers over there. Not a big channel by any means, but I've been on the platform since 2000 and... let's check my About page. It was so long ago, I don't remember. 2006. I've been on the platform since 2006. Uploaded my first video 2008, but I've been filming since 2001. It just took me a couple of years to jump on the YouTube bandwagon. But before there was a YouTube, I was out filming. So I've learned a few things. I'm no expert. I don't present myself as an expert. But in the group, a lot of people have asked over, the years and months and stuff like that for my assistance with stuff. And I've surprised myself by actually being able to help people many times. And so people started to ask for live streams. I started on Facebook, and it was all glitchy, so now here I'm on YouTube. So, yeah, I've been gone for a hot minute. I've been gone for a while. I went on a 17-day, 13-state, and 2-province road trip. And the funny thing was, on that road trip, I did actually record a couple videos I want to put up on this channel about some YouTube stuff. I tested out some lav mics on the road, and spoiler alert, they suck. And I'm always going to tell you the truth about those things. When something's awesome or when it sucks, I'm going to tell you the truth. TubeBuddy is like 99% awesome, by the way. Affiliate link down below. Video not sponsored. But I'm going to tell you when things suck, as well as when they rock. You're going to get an honest opinion from me. But the thing was, is when I was on that road trip, there were a bunch of times where I was like, hey, you know what? If I could go live on this channel just on my phone, I had a good idea, or I was at a location that made good sense, but you need 1,000 subscribers to go live on mobile now, and we don't have that on this channel, so I wasn't able to. And so that makes me want to I want to get past 1,000 subscribers here so that I don't have to be at my desktop with this particular setup just to go live. I've done a few little like stories and videos on Instagram. Small YouTubers Boost is also on Instagram. A couple things there where I'm like, hey, here's a quick tip about how to write a description. Here's a tip about a title or whatever. And so that's one of the things I want to do on this channel. I want to get it to 1,000 subscribers so I can just bloody go live on mobile without it being a whole thing. So that's something that's a goal that I want to have sometime by the end of the year would be great. End of October would be amazing. But so don't be surprised if I try to, as much as my life allows, do a little bit more of this because I want to get to that point. So that's what's happening with me. Let's see what's happening in chat. So let's see. Yeah, Amanda's here. Amanda's a fantastic supporter of Small YouTubers Boost. Great small channel. We've got Will. He helped me with my audio check this morning. He joined the group at 43,000. Yeah, it's crazy. I joined the group. I actually didn't create the group, but I joined it within like a week of its creation. So I definitely joined it pre-1,000 members. Amanda's been here for a year. Yeah, and I've been with TubeBuddy for a year, for example. And so Amanda, you probably joined around 32,000 people in the group if you've been here a year. And so it's tripled since then, which is crazy, but awesome. Frank Sartain says, I hope I'm not butchering people's names too badly, says, good afternoon. Will says, that's awesome. Amanda's saying hi to everyone. Oh, my chat is scrolling without my permission. I don't know why it does that. Amanda has enough watch time, but nowhere near enough subs. Amanda, that speaks to me. That was my experience with Vacation Impossible. When they brought in the monetization rules all those months ago, yeah, I was at like 98% of the watch time, and I hit the watch time requirement the day after they enforced the new rules, which was funny. But I only had 300-odd subs at the time. And so it took me from the January where they made the announcement, I put out a video every day for a month, and that gave me a boost, to use that word. But it wasn't nearly enough. It got me over the watch time requirement, but not the subscriber account. Like that a video a day for a month got me about 100 subscribers. I also reached out to media, and so there was an article that I was featured in the Daily Beast and the Canadian Press, which is like the AP for Canada. So it was a story that was picked up from coast to coast to coast across Canada. All of those efforts, 30 videos in 30 days and getting in the Daily Beast and basically every newspaper website in Canada only got me about 100 subscribers. So I appreciate the subscriber hustle and struggle. And then it wasn't until the following August, this would be about a year ago now, where I finally decided to try TubeBuddy, and my world changed. And so I can't recommend it enough. There's a description, there's a link in the description. If you don't have it, at least get the free version. For the love of God, get the free version. It's 31 free tools. The lowest paid version is, I think, 45 tools, but also the 31 tools that you have, most of those get substantial upgrades, even at the lowest paid version. That's probably enough for most YouTubers, but I highly recommend it because that is what made the difference for me. Because I got the free version in, I think, like the second week of August. I went Legendary by the end of August. I went whole hog. I have Legendary. I love it. I don't know that everyone needs it. because there's a lot there. Like, one of the perks that you get is, what is it, Audio Hero? I've only just started signing up for that today, a year later, and I'm still working my way through all of the perks. So I'm gonna be learning about Audio Hero, so I can talk about that intelligently, if I can find my words, and enunciate properly, and then tell you fine people what it's all about. The sign up process for Audio Hero takes a while, which is weird. That's surprising. I'm waiting right now for my account to be created. I wanted some sounds for today's video for Vacation Impossible, which is a crazy video where we're going along and we basically drive through an insane monsoon and hailstorm in Colorado. And I swear to God, we nearly died. And so there was a bit of swearing. And if you care about CPMs, this is the money, one of the measures of the money you would make on a monetized channel. Don't swear, because a lot of advertisers don't like that. And so generally speaking, it won't prevent you from being monetized, but it generally drives your CPMs down. And so we were kind of swearing like sailors, partly because the driver was a sailor. And so I had to go in and bleep out all the swearing. And I have a bleep, but it's not a good one, and so I thought Audio Hero might have a better one. So I went to go sign up and use my TubeBuddy perk. And here's where I give you the God's honest truth, because I love TubeBuddy so much. But the perk for Audio Hero, you go in and you create the account, but after you provide your initial information, your name and your email, it sends you, a confirm your email link, which, okay, fine, but you can't move any further forward without doing that. So, okay, fine, I go and I click on that. Then the next thing it does is, then it begins like the request for your account creation. And then it sends you another email notifying you of that. But that's a full stop. So as it stands right now, I signed up at 10 a.m. this morning here on the West Coast. It's now 1:30 p.m. I still don't have access. So that delay is kind of weird. Not a fan of that. So I'm hoping that the product is worth the effort. But I will let you know when I know more. But because I wanted to get that video out today, I just used my old bleep and it kind of works. So check that out when we're done here. I gotta plug that video because it's pretty mind-blowing, honestly. And the thing is when we hit that storm, we were in the middle of recording a video for YouTube for my Vacation Impossible channel. We were gonna do a tip video about driving in the rain, ironically. And then the storm just instantly gets insane. And then visibility dies, and there's cars all over, and it's a thing. You gotta see to believe it, especially the size of the hail we hit. But we kept our cool the whole way through, and we were basically trying to use it as an opportunity to provide information to people. And here's how you survive a situation like this. Because that's one of the things I like to do on my channel. And it was interesting because, one of the things that they try to teach young drivers and people in those sorts of situations, they call monologuing, where you actually verbalize what you're doing and what you're thinking and what you're seeing. And sometimes that helps people focus. And so inadvertently, just because we happened to be recording something for YouTube, but we were doing that, did that help save our lives? That might be an oversell. I don't know. But it's pretty intense. So that's I can't recommend that enough. So let's see here. But yeah, I feel the struggle for subs. If you're getting the views and the watch time but not the subscribers, you need to do a bunch of little technical things. Putting the watermark in your videos, the clickable watermark that you do in the YouTube platform, that helps. Info cards helps a little. End cards helps a bit more. Those are 3 technical things that you should be doing on every single video. Now, the watermark you set for the channel, and it applies to all your videos. So that's a one-time set it and forget it. It's fantastic. But the info cards and the end cards are the kinds of things, because that can include, it's more the end card because that has the subscribe button that you can add there. It's important to remember to do that every time. That's one of the reasons I love TubeBuddy. If you have it installed as it's a website and a mobile app, but it's also a browser add-in. The browser add-in for me is the most valuable part because it will remind you as you're editing or uploading a video. If you haven't put an end card on that, it'll remind you to do so. And it's those sorts of things consistently done that feeds the subscriber growth. So it's a little technical thing, but then you just do it consistently, and then you can focus your mental power on other things, on your content. So yeah. And also, I mean, there is you could have the call to action in the video. Please subscribe. In fact, let me say right now, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Once this hits 1,000 subscribers, then I can start going live on mobile. I can do this kind of thing more, if that's helpful to you. And since you're watching, hopefully you're here for a good reason and enjoying it. But anyway, so calls to action is another thing. The way you do it is, it's a balancing act. It's a dance, I think, because like, some people get really put off by, they get really put off. Sorry, I'm just getting a message here. Life gets in the way sometimes. Some people really get put off by asking for a subscription right at the beginning of the video. It's like, hi, welcome to my channel, subscribe. So far, you've told me nothing about your channel. I know nothing about you except maybe what you look like, what your voice sounds like, and you've given me no real value. Why would I subscribe now? There's, I think, a couple of there's like 3 schools of thought to this. I used to be of the school of thought that if you did that, you were just asking for something before you've given anything, and that wasn't great. I think there's also a school of thought that it's like everyone does it, so I should too, which that's not a reason, really. That's herd mentality, it's pack mentality. But I did somewhat recently hear an interesting take on the asking for subscribers at the top that has opened my mind a little bit. I don't think I'll be doing it anytime soon, short of, you know, this live stream. Please subscribe. It's that you mentioned it at the top of the video not to get the subscriber, which that's weird, right? I'm asking you to subscribe not to get the subscriber, but here's how it works, is this idea. You ask at the top of the video, and no one's going to click right then is the idea, but you implant the idea. And so subconsciously, it's like mind control, subconsciously as they're watching the video, they're evaluating, should I subscribe? Should I subscribe? And then about like halfway through the video or at the end of the video or somewhere else, once you've maybe given some good value, you hit them with the reminder. And then apparently, psychologically speaking, it's easier for them to pull the trigger at that moment because they're primed, because you mentioned it at the beginning. As a viewer, I don't like it. But maybe I'm not the target psychology that they're going for. But I like the fact that that has a better, more fulsome explanation of why you would do it, other than everybody else is doing it, or just give me free stuff, please, because I ask for it. So that's something I'm thinking on. It's something I've struggled with, asking for subscribers, because I don't like doing it very much, because I don't know. I don't want to feel like I'm talking down to the audience. Like, they know that subscribing is an option. I'm not telling them something they haven't heard a million times from a million other YouTubers. But it doesn't hurt to remind people. And so what I've tried to do is I've tried to do it in maybe funny or interesting ways. And when I've done it in funny or interesting ways, that's done better for me. The videos have performed better. People will in the comment section say, hey, that ending was really funny. And I will get more subscribers if I can find an original way to do it that is part of my personality, my brand, my character. Not really character, but you know what I mean. The character of the channel, really. So, for example, I recently had a video come out where I was in Ensenada, Mexico, and we were doing this top 10 tour, this bus tour thing, and I took control of the tour bus. I grabbed the microphone, and I just took over that tour bus for a little bit. And so in that, I recorded like an end card and asking for a subscription. And there's something I recorded when I had control of the tour bus that I actually haven't used yet. And I'm waiting for the right video to use it on. But it's basically like, help, I'm trapped in Mexico. The only job I could get is tour bus operator. Subscribe and get me out of here. And so a little stuff like that. It's what I'm calling my Ray in Peril series. My name is Ray, and the idea is that I would be in peril, and somehow people subscribing would get me out of it. It's kind of a gag, but I'm hoping that that's original enough an approach that I can do it sincerely and that it will resonate with people and be entertaining, and not just because, I mean, I'm curious in chat, are you sick of videos that ask you to subscribe? Are you sick of hearing it? I mean, if you watch a lot of YouTube, you hear it all the dang time, probably, depending on the channels that you watch. And so I'd like to think a refreshing approach is a more effective approach. And also could increase that watch time, because there's probably a lot of people who close a video, close the browser, go to another video once they start, you know, the spiel at the end. You know, like, thanks for watching, don't forget to like and, you know, comment. And also, do please click like on this. One of the ways that I've been adjusting how I ask for likes since I've learned more about the platform, in part because the group has helped educate me, is that getting a like is not an ego exercise for me. What it is it helps the video do better in search and discovery recommended in the algo. So I'll tell people, if you like this video, if you found value in it, give it a like to help other people find it. That's what that's for. It's not about patting me on the back or saying I'm so beautiful, because I'm not. But yeah, so that's just some thoughts about getting more subscribers kind of generally. I am experimenting a little bit with an animated like subscribe thing popping up in some of my recent tip videos on Vacation Impossible. They're not clickable, but it's, I don't know. somebody in my group was, because it's an ensemble group, I film with a lot of people. One of them was pushing really hard. They're like, you gotta try it, you gotta try it, you gotta try it. And I'm like, you know, sure, I'll give it a shot. Because I'd like Vacation Impossible to get to 10,000 subscribers, because that activates the merch shelf for Teespring integration. And people have been asking us for t-shirts. I go and I design the t-shirt, but I have trouble getting traffic to the t-shirt because it's completely off platform. So I'm hoping that if the t-shirts appeared below the video on that merch shelf, then, because people are like, hey man, you got to make and sell a t-shirt. I'm like, I do. But they missed the Teespring link in the description or something. So that's one of my goals for Vacation Impossible. It's probably gonna take me 10 years at this rate, but you never know. I'm gonna keep pushing. Taboo Tuesdays here. The road trip sounds fabulous. Yeah, it was amazing. And so this is the first video coming out of it. We did 2 live streams on Vacation Impossible on the trip. One was at the Geographical Center of the Nation, which is in Belforche, which is north of Deadwood, South Dakota. And we also did a longer live stream at a will call lineup for the Gen Con convention in Indianapolis. So those 2 live streams plus the video I put out today of us nearly dying are the first videos from that road trip. But we've got a lot more stuff coming up. I actually, in Sioux Falls, I met up with a Patreon supporter. It's a fan of the channel. I don't know that he watches Small YouTubers Boost, but he's a fan of Vacation Impossible, and I also do work with the Mario Marathon, which is a charity gaming event. And so, yeah, I knew he lived in Sioux Falls. We were going to be passing through. He's a Patreon supporter of Vacation Impossible at the $3 level. And so I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we got together for dinner? And we were able to make it happen. And that was amazing. And so it's crazy because, like, I've met a lot of celebrities. I've met the Dalai Lama twice. I've met Will Wheaton, Patrick Stewart, just a bunch of people. And so I'm used to being kind of the fanboy and being like, oh my God, it's so amazing to meet you. I don't want to sound like an idiot. You know, what's it like being you? And this was the first time that I was on the other side of the table. And so the other person was like, this is so cool. And I'm like, it is kind of cool. And so that was amazing. And yeah, I was going to try and meet up with Asa Vegas in Colorado, but the timing didn't quite work. But that's too bad, because it would have been fun maybe film a little collab or something. I did a collab with him where I submitted a video question to his channel and then he answered it, a part of his celebrating hitting 1,000 subscribers. So that was fun. And those are just some examples of things that you can do to collaborate with other channels, maybe help drive that subscriber base. Will, took me about 6 months to figure out info cards. Yeah, it's they're not branded great. If they called them like pop-up links, if it was called that, then you would, like, I think intuitively know what it is. But info card sounds like it's providing information and that it is a card of some kind. You know, like you think card, and hey, whenever possible, use props, guys. When you think card, you probably think, oops, making a mess here, business card, right? That's that was my Mark 1 Vacation Impossible business card there. It was before I had my custom URL for my channel, so it doesn't even have a link to my YouTube channel. It just has our email, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. But then later, through Vistaprint, when they had their promo box thing, they made me these kind of new ones, which are cool. It's kind of a square card, and it's got the YouTube URL on there, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so that's another thing that can potentially drive viewership, subscribers, stuff like that. Some business cards, Vistaprint, pretty reasonable prices. And you'd be surprised how long it takes to go through 250, 500 business cards. That's actually quite a lot. So some thoughts there. Hope everyone's doing good. Oop, chat's jumping around on me again. I said the name correctly. Awesome. So I'm gonna go out a winner on that one, and I'll try again. Mr. Rocker Vlogs, Mr. Rocker is here. Hello. It took me about 4 months after I hit my subs until I got my watch time to monetize. Yeah. And it depends on the nature of your content and your channel. So, for example, if you're an animation channel and you make short 3-minute animations and it takes you 3 weeks to make one, which I think is a relatively common scenario in that genre, then you're not getting huge views or watch time potentially because you're posting so infrequently that the algo isn't giving you a boost, and the videos themselves are short, so the watch time is hard to collect. But if you're making quality content, like there's a guy in the group called Alex Animated. make great content, you know, you might get a lot of subscribers because they see what you got and they click that subscribe button, but there's not a lot of content for them to watch. And so that's a channel, or that's a struggle that I sympathize with. It hasn't been a problem for me particularly, but that's just because, you know, travel stuff I've been able to do relatively well in. And so if it's watch time that you're after, I mean, thinking about how long your videos are, because anticipated watch time is a hugely important YouTube metric. It's like the new most important metric. So what you need to do for that is, you know, if your average view duration is pretty long, then you'll also do better in search and discovery recommended. So making longer videos if possible, but in a way that holds people's interest, so you're not just dragging it out. That can help a lot. But really about the views, so like TubeBuddy can help a lot with that, so you understand things like reminding to do info cards and end cards, because those can include links to other videos of yours. Gets you more views and more watch time. They stick on your channel longer. And also it really helps optimize for SEO, search and discovery recommended. And so it's a great tool for that kind of stuff. So super useful. Oh, we'll start using TubeBuddy because of me. That's awesome. And I'm glad to hear that it helps. There's so much to it. Yeah, Amanda's not able to afford TubeBuddy right now. But hey, you know, the free version, 31 free tools. And then when you're able to, you can always upgrade that license and off to the races. Gave you a like. Thank you, Mr. Rocker Vlogs, Mr. Rocker. That is a long name. Very great tip, very informative. Thank you. That's what I'm here for, and I appreciate it. That's what makes the time investment worth it. Taboo Tuesday, which cool name by the way. It says TubeBuddy saved my channel. I'm curious how that, what the story behind that is. Never thought of planting them to subscribe. It actually makes a bit of sense in a way. Yeah, it does. And so I think there's like subtle ways of doing it. Another thing that I was watching some other YouTuber, I forget who, one of the bigger channels, and their approach was at the end, they didn't ask for a subscribe, they thanked you for subscribing under the assumption that you already had, which was kind of nice. Because, I mean, I'm all about gratitude. I think gratitude is a great thing to practice and to feel as much as you can. If you don't feel it, fake it until you feel it. I think it makes people happier, and it makes them, I think it's easier to like someone who is grateful. And so I think it's just sort of a philosophy thing. But also, if you have a lot of subscribers and they're rewatching the content, saying to those people, please subscribe when they already have, it doesn't speak to them necessarily. But if you're thanking someone for subscribing, then it does speak to them, and also it kind of pre-thanks the people who haven't subscribed yet. So that's something I've been giving some thought to as well. Maybe, so, you know, thank you for subscribing to Small YouTubers Boost. Test that out. I don't like asking at the start or when others do, says Will. Yeah, I completely agree. I found a funny way to do it. Pretty super short sub button click. Yeah. One thing I did, I have a podcast, the Vacation Impossible podcast, and so that'll run between 1 and 2.5 hours, and I'll take about 9 topics that we cover, and I'll turn those into little videos on Vacation Impossible. And so for one that I did, I had this little thing where at the end, I had this title card come up that was like, warning, gratuitous request for subscribers incoming or something. And then it was like me begging for subscribers. And that was actually kind of funny. And that was one of the videos I was speaking of earlier, where a lot of the comments were like, the ending was so funny. The video that it was tagged to was like a hotel review or something. But it drove interactions because of the funny way I asked for subscribers at the end. So that was kind of cool. Good tips. I'm here. That's awesome. I can't imagine meeting someone who's one of your supporters. Yeah, it was super awesome. This Gutang Clan was the guy. He's on Twitter. Super nice guy. He's also a big supporter of Pat Contry and the CU podcast. So I'm so honored to be considered in that, to kind of be in that category. I gotta get back to work, but enjoy the live stream, learn from important tips. Sure, come back. This live stream will be rewatchable, I think, about 20 minutes after it ends. So feel free to come back and watch anything you missed, and we'll see what we can cover. So it looks like I'm caught up on chat, not seeing a whole lot of questions or requests, so I'll start it off. Amanda was the first person to talk in chat, and I go chronologically. It seems the only fair way to do it. So, you know, Amanda, is there anything that I can do for you? I know I've reviewed your channel many, many times, so I probably don't have much value to add there, but I can do a live tutorial or answer a question. You know, if people have questions about what it's like to run a large Facebook group, we are creeping up on 100,000 members, and this is going to sound really crazy, like certifiable, but I kind of want the growth to slow down. And there's a very particular reason. I want to do something special for when we hit 100,000 members. And the best I've been able to come up with so far, people keep making jokes about, oh, get everyone pizza. And I'm like, funny. I can't afford that. But the thing that I would like to do is like an epic live stream. I'd like to do one of these, but like plan it better. Because this is short notice. I was like, yesterday I realized, you know what? There's a narrow window of time on my Saturday where I think I can go live. And thankfully it's happening. I don't know how long I've got. Hey, DJ Talks, great to see you. But what I would like to do to celebrate 100,000 members in the Facebook group is an epic live stream that lasts for like 8 to 12 hours. I think the longest I've gone here on this channel is 3.5, maybe. I think I did 4 hours once. I think I did 4 hours. So, but yeah, going like 8, 12 hours would be epic. And I think that would be a really cool way of celebrating 100K. I think we could help a lot of people, cover a lot of ground, and continue to build the community. So that's what I want to do. But there's some health problems in my family right now that I can't make that huge a time commitment. And so I'm actually hoping that the growth of the group slows down a little bit so that it buys me time to get everything sorted on the home front so that maybe I can do a very epic live stream. And yeah, that would be insane. I think it'd be fun. I wonder what that would be like. So, Amanda, if you don't have any questions or requests or anything, Will was the second person to speak up in chat. So, Will, is there anything I can do for you? Do you have any questions, a tutorial? Channel review. I won't be watching any... hey, Amanda. She just said my name. I don't know why, but hi. Read my comments. I missed comments? Swear. What? You want me to swear? That's your request? That can't be right. Cons, darn it. Sad you can't pay for Tube Buddy. I saw that. What am I missing? Is it just about the how to get more subs? I talked about that for a bit. I could try to dive a little deeper. No, don't swear. I'm very confused by these one-word messages. Read my comments above. Is it in chat or did you like comment on the live stream? Because I don't know what I'm looking for here. Or maybe that's what she's just asking. Read out everything she said. She said, hey, I've been here for a year. Hey, everyone. I have enough watch time, but nowhere near enough subs. Still trying to figure out why. I'm sad I can't afford to pay for TubeBuddy. I'm going to talk about ways to make money online. Pizza Heart. Hey, DJ. Ray. Read my comments. Swear. No. Above. Yes, without the cringe asking for subs. How could I get more subs without being cringe? Like themed subs question. Like themed subs question. Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, so more about how to grow your subscriber base. That's a tricky one because, I mean, it's something I've struggled with myself. One way of looking at... Oh, my channel theme. Okay, sure. Looking at YouTube channels sort of writ large, the most important metric right now is anticipated watch time, but everything comes from views, really. It all starts with views. If you, the more eyeballs you get on the channel, the more people have an opportunity to subscribe. So views can drive all the other parts. So that might be something to consider focusing on in terms of just getting more eyeballs on the channel. I'd be curious to see what your analytics are. Like, what percentage of your viewers are subscribers? If you have a very high percentage, and I mean, I'm just going to hop on my phone and take a look at mine. Mine's not going to be great, I can tell you right now. I normally get like 2% of my views from subscribers. So that tells me that I get a lot of views, but I'm not converting a lot of them. If you have a high percentage there, then that would mean you're converting a lot of them, so just more views would equal more subscribers at your conversion rate. So, I mean, if you get a chance to just pop open another window, go on your mobile device. I'm on the YT Studio app for Android, looking at my channel. 94.9% of my watch time comes from people who are not subscribed. And for a travel channel, that makes a lot of sense to me because, you know, you can come and watch one of my most successful videos, How to Dress for Alaska. You could go and watch that video if you're headed to Alaska, but if my next video is about Mexico or Hawaii and you've got no plans to go there, then you've gotten the value you came for. You leave happy, hopefully, but subscribing might not make sense for you. I get it. It kind of sucks for me, but I understand. Let's see here. So, here to be part of the community. I don't know what to ask. That's cool, Will. You know, conversation flows. And that's one of the things about these live streams, even when I get into channel reviews. When I'm answering a question for one person, there's more people out there with the same question or who didn't even think of that question. And so hopefully this provides value that way. So Amanda says, my channel does Pokemon content and product reviews, so I want to know how to better use my theme to get subs and views. Yeah, that's interesting. Let me ask you this. Have you looked at successful videos in your niche with your web browser, with even the free version of TubeBuddy installed? Because it will show you quite a bit of information. In fact, let's do a little live thing here. Let's do that. So, also, I'm not going to watch any videos today just because of copyright reasons, and I don't want to... it's going to eat up a whole lot of time. I'm willing to look at your videos with TubeBuddy to see the tags, the title, description, things like that, thumbnail to help you there, but not watching. Unfortunately, it just isn't practical. So anyways, I've got today's video that I put out on Vacation Impossible. We almost died on a road trip in a storm. So I would recommend doing the search incognito so that you can find the results divorced from your behavior, your subscriptions, your views, your likes and comments. But then once you find the top videos, then you can put that into a browser where you have TubeBuddy installed and you're logged in and you can see some information. So let's do that. I'm going to, for today's video, we almost died on a road trip in a storm. So I'm going to see what comes up. So my video, because that's a match. But then there's this other video here. It's got 82 views, 180 views, 4.3 million views. Here we go. It's a verified channel, so this is a huge channel. It looks like a gaming channel. So it's not really in my niche, but it's got 4.3 million views. It's been up for a year. It's about almost dying in a plane crash. Hopefully this isn't too morbid or triggering for anyone. I apologize in advance. One thing I will point out, just as you're looking at my browser here, as I'm sharing my screen, let me make sure I'm sharing it properly. Yeah, you'll notice that my browser might look a little different from yours. One, I have YouTube Premium, so you won't see any ads when I'm navigating. These live streams is part of why I got it, so we don't have to deal with the ad situation. Also, I have my YouTube in dark mode because I prefer it that way, so that's why it might look a little different from yours. I also have TubeBuddy, the browser extension, installed. Description in the link below. It's an affiliate link, video not sponsored. But it provides super useful information over here. So I just did a search, and it tells me that that's actually a very good search term. The keyword isn't too competitive and has enough search volume to make it worth targeting. So hopefully today's video on Vacation Impossible I posted 3 hours ago, which only has 16 views right now, but hopefully maybe it can be some evergreen content, perform over time. So anyways, basically what I'm doing right now is I'm doing some research in my niche, in my genre. I'm going to go look at a successful video. I'm not going to watch the video, I told you I wouldn't. So I'm going to pause it right away. And I'm going to let my TubeBuddy Videolytics load on the right-hand side. I have a tutorial on this channel about how this works, but I want to show you a couple of things because I'm going to use this sort of in real time. So provide some useful information. Particularly, I see that this successful video has a high-resolution thumbnail, an end screen. It's been shared on Twitter over 20 times. It's gotten 10 likes on Facebook. It has captions. It has not commented. It hasn't pinned or hearted a comment yet. So that's interesting. So there's 3 things this video could actually be doing better. Could you imagine if it did those things, how many views it would have then? I just can't fathom it. I mean, this is obviously a large channel, 5 million subscribers, built-in audience, so it's got those things going for it. But what else does it have going for it that might educate me? So, for example, on the Twitter mentions here in the Videolytics tool, there is and I'm in dark mode, so that it might be hard to see it, but there's a little gray box with an arrow pointing out of it next to the mentions. If I click on that, I don't know if this will show you. Yeah, it will. Okay, it opens in another browser tab all of the times this video was shared. And so you can see how it was tweeted about. A lot of this was the old integration I see here. There used to be a thing where every time you liked a video, it would tweet. They shut that down in January of this year. But there's other stuff here, like, so this was pretty scary. You know, we almost died in a plane crash. This kind of stuff. So you can see how on Twitter, successful videos are being shared. And so if there was a hashtag on Twitter that you might want to consider using, or if you couldn't, if you're having trouble figuring out how do I write a tweet to promote my video, this is one way. You can look at what the competition's doing. Thanks to TubeBuddy, it provides you this information. I would recommend and caution you against copying and pasting exactly. Let it inspire you. Let it inform you so you see what's successful. And go from there. So that's one thing that you could do on your videos. Take the exact title of your video, search it, click on something that's as successful as you would like to be, that comes up in those results, and then go see how it was shared on Twitter, and use that to create your own Twitter sharing strategy. Even if it's just one tweet about that video, you never know what's gonna catch fire on YouTube. The metaphor I always use is that YouTube is kind of like the lottery. And every video is a lottery ticket, but the thing is your ticket's valid every single day. And they're constantly drawing numbers, so you never know when your number's going to come up. So the video analytics tool on the right-hand side here, care of TubeBuddy, shows you all of the tags on this video. So this video has click to load, and it's just going to see how those are doing. So this video only ranks in 2 search terms. This is telling me some useful information about this video. I'm analyzing how it was successful. So it does very well. It comes up number 2 in search, in incognito mode, for the search term, "we almost died." And so my video today on Vacation Impossible, I absolutely use that as a tag. It's absolutely in the title. It is absolutely in the description. So that is beginning what I call keyword alignment. I haven't done the captioning on it yet, but if we say those words in the video as well, that also helps. Another thing, captioning. I've found that captioning a video increases its views by 7 to 11% on Vacation Impossible. Just my personal experience, but who wouldn't want 7 to 11% more views on their videos? The trick for captioning is wait for YouTube to auto-caption it, and then just edit the auto-captions. Instead of typing everything out yourself, you're just correcting mistakes. It goes much faster. And then, once you have that, and you've corrected the mistakes, YouTube has confidence in the things you said in the video accurately, and that improves your SEO, search and discovery. As well, it's another check mark plus to your video in the algorithm saying this is another thing you've done to make it successful. That means that you're serious about it, increases the algorithm's confidence and knows what your video is about, so it will suggest it to more people. And also, for people who are hard of hearing, it makes it more accessible to them and accurate, not just the auto captions, which are sometimes just a mess. As well, there's going to be situations where people can't listen to audio. There's situations where people shouldn't listen to audio. I'm like getting close to a rant here. But like, I'm at an airport, I'm at a train station, I'm trying to hear the announcement, and somebody's watching a YouTube video super loud on their phone with no headphones, and I just want to, violence. I don't, but I hate it. But there are considerate people out there. And so they're going to be like, oh, hey, I want to watch this video. I don't have headphones right now. Oh, there's captioning. I'll just watch it with captions. That'll be fine. So, that's another view, more watch time, another exposure point where people could then go from that to subscribe, potentially. So that's a thing that is worth doing. So Plane Crash, this comes up as number 14, and We Almost Died, number 2. So what this is telling me, and also it hasn't been shared on Reddit, which is interesting. So again, had it been shared on Reddit, how many more views would it have gotten? Mind-blowing, right? And so it's a good reminder, share on Facebook, Reddit, and Twitter. And also you can see, because that link button, the gray box with the arrow pointing out, you get that for both Reddit and Twitter. So you can see where it was shared on Reddit, what subreddits. People ask in the Facebook group all the time, what subreddit should I promote my videos in? They often ask without telling us what their genre is, and so that's kind of hard. It's like, well, are videos in good luck? I don't know. But you can find where videos have been shared, popular videos on Reddit using TubeBuddy, and then you can go and potentially share your videos to that community that is hopefully receptive. And since the share and the post is still up, if it's similar, should follow the rules of that subreddit. People, they ask about subreddit they ask about Reddit all the time. One of the things I've done is I've created the Small YouTubers Boost subreddit. So you can go in there and treat it like a sandbox. I would admit, I don't go in there very often. I don't maintain it to the degree that I should. I've set up a couple other people who can moderate things, but we don't generally ban people. And that's, I think, one of the fears with Reddit is like, oh, I'm going to do something wrong and get banned. Like my experience, I think it was in the travel subreddit. They have these bizarre rules that contradict each other. It's only post original content that you've created and no self-promotion. how on this earth, how on this earth can you share only original content you've created and not self-promote? I don't know where that line is. I got banned in about 34 seconds from that subreddit. I tried, I failed. I knew I was going to fail, but I had to try. I thought maybe I misunderstood, and maybe to this day I still do. I don't know. I'm banned. Couldn't tell you. So for those of you who may, not like the way I run the Facebook group, I've been banned from Facebook groups. I've been banned from subreddit. Badge of honor, maybe. I don't know. Failure on my part, perhaps. But anyways, the Small YouTubers Boost subreddit is a place where you can go and you can play and see how it works. You can treat it like a sandbox. Really, the only two major rules there that translate over from our Facebook group is have a description for what you're posting if there's a link, and no sub for sub. So as long as you don't break those two, it's pretty open, and I think the idea is so you can get comfortable on the platform. Maybe get some karma, which is when you get upvotes on Reddit, increases your karma. There are subreddits out there where you might not be able to participate unless you have enough karma, which is bonkers, let's say. I was going to use a different word. It starts with bull. It ends with it. Like, for example, Amazon has a subreddit where you can get customer support, but you can't post there unless you have 100 karma. You can't get customer support from a company on Reddit unless you are popular enough. So maybe you can go get some karma in Small YouTubers Boost subreddit. So that's just something I put together. It's something that we can practice and play in without hopefully the fear of getting attacked by the Reddit trolls and by being banned because we didn't understand something. So you can play with that. But this is the kind of stuff that you could be doing, because I mean I've tried to give Amanda a lot of tips. I've looked at her channel and a lot of advice. So I'm trying to find other things that I don't think I've talked about before. And so this is kind of the stuff. It's a little bit more work, it's a little bit more research, but again, the free version of TubeBuddy has all this. You don't have to pay for any of this, anything but your time. So you can see how those things are being shared. So what does this tell me? That this got a lot of mentions on Twitter, quite a few mentions on Facebook. It's only ranking for 2 search terms, 5 million subscribers, 4 million views. This is the built-in audience. This is an emotional video. You can see by the expression on her face that it is. And so this would mean something to her fans. They would watch this. They would engage with this and connect with it on an emotional level. They'd be concerned. They'd be curious. They probably want to support her, presumably, whoever this person is. So that's telling me that's where those are. So that part we can't replicate. We can't. Having a giant audience is hard to replicate. That's a cart and the horse thing. It's like, well, if we get the subscribers, then we start to have the audience. And so, and so this video might not be the best example for this process, but I'm showing you some of the things that I do if I'm trying to jumpstart a video, bring life back to a video that's dead. Using this information, that can be helpful. But it can be tedious. I've got nearly 500 videos on Vacation Impossible. Am I going to do this for 500 videos? I don't have that kind of time. So it's up to you how you use your time. But those are some things that you could give a go for. And if I think of other things, I'll keep talking about it. DJ Talks asks, Ray, what do you use to live stream? I'm currently using OBS, just the vanilla OBS. It's version 23.2.1, the 64-bit version for Windows. I know there's Streamlabs, and that has the ability to build in things like donations and other things. That's going to take some time on my part to learn and test and use, and I've installed it, but that's as far as I've gotten. I just haven't had the available time because I'm being pulled in a lot of different directions right now with my channel, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I love being busy, but prioritizing my time is a little tricky. Yeah, I'm going to see maybe about getting the Streamlabs thing happening at some point, but for now it's just vanilla OBS. It's relatively straightforward. Stupid Robot Fighting Link says, dude, I'm so proud of you. Are you talking about just the beard? Thanks for your support, man. You know, it's great. Let's see here. Hey, Amanda, I've been looking at your channel. I see that you've made custom thumbnails for some of your videos, but not all. Is there a reason for that? That's a great question, Will. Yeah, because, again, and you can see right here, high-res thumbnail, check mark. That is huge, I think, in the algorithm. Because if you don't have a custom thumbnail, when they first brought in custom thumbnails, I was a late adopter, and I was a late adopter with a lot of things with YouTube. If I was an early adopter more, I would be more successful. I know this. But I don't have that time machine. And initially I thought, well, if it's a custom thumbnail, I'm not using something that's legitimately from the video, so it felt disingenuous. I got over it, and now I think every single one of my videos, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions max, now have custom thumbnails. When I said, oh, 500 videos, I'm not going to do this for 500 videos, I will make custom high-resolution thumbnails for all of my videos. Absolutely. Because I think that the algorithm, if they see that there's no custom thumbnail, the way that it's programmed, and I anthropomorphize it a lot like it's a person, but it helps, I think, comprehension. It looks at that and says, well, you didn't make a custom thumbnail. How serious are you? Do you really want success here? If you're not willing to do that, like, how much of my time should I invest? I mean, I don't think that's the way it thinks, that it calculates, whatever you want to call it. But it's a useful way of remembering it. And that's why when I say this a lot, if YouTube gives you a feature, use the feature. Because I swear it seems to, from my empirical, you know, call it research, experimentation, whatever, and everything I've read and everything I've seen, using it helps you with the algorithm. So high resolution thumbnail every time, info card every time. If you can't think of a relevant info card, just go and put some info card maybe in the middle of the video, just straight in the middle, and link it to some video that you'd like more people to watch. Something that, if it's related, great. If it's tangentially related, okay. Maybe it's just your channel trailer. Maybe it's a playlist for a whole bunch of videos, something. Because it gives you that check mark in the algo that the algorithm's like, oh, maybe this is, you know, a little bit more serious. And if it links to similar content, it's probably like, well, then this is definitely about that. If my travel channel links to another travel video, well, this is, okay, increases the confidence this is about travel, I can share this. I think a big part of the way that the algorithm is programmed, and maybe some of the psychology behind it, is that it is to run independently. You have to set it and forget it and have faith in it. And so I think one of the highest priorities that they built into its programming, I'm just theorizing here, but from everything I've seen and read and heard, that it's all about, well, not all, but a big part is about confidence. Can it, with confidence, say that it knows what your video is about? If it can, then it's more likely to display it. I don't like, large corporations are generally risk averse. And I think that psychology has been trickled down and built into the algorithm, that the algorithm, after the first week of a video, the way that it treats a video is pretty risk averse. If it's confident that it knows what it's about, it'll probably show it up for search terms. If it's confident that most people who click on it will watch it for a substantial amount of time, then it will probably recommend it a lot. That's what I think that kind of thing boils down to. So, I got on a tangent there and I forget where I started. Custom thumbnails, right. So I was just kind of going through. So it sees, like, there's an end screen. It links to similar videos. And they did that work. I'm more confident in sharing this. Versus people who haven't done those things, that don't have those linkages established, that doesn't have that kind of confidence. I can't hear you, bro, because I got the volume down. Okay, but that sounds like a you thing, not a me thing. Because Will said my sound was perfect, so it has to be perfect. If I'm too quiet, I can bring the microphone closer, just let me know. But when I do it, it'll be like a brief period of, like, RIP headphone users, so I'm only going to do it if it would help more people. I need to start researching similar videos like you are. I didn't even realize TubeBuddy could do that. Thanks, man. That's one of the things that drives me up the wall about this comprehension of TubeBuddy. Like, it's a great product, but frankly, they got a branding problem because it seems like in the community, all they're known for is keyword suggestions. And don't get me wrong, that is an awesome tool, especially if it's like early on a Saturday and I'm just posting my video, trying to post it at an optimal time, and I'm like, oh my god, what keywords? And then I'm like, hey, wait, my TubeBuddy is here with me, and it's suggesting some, and I can sort them by how they might rank, which is a great feature that I think is relatively new, only in the last couple months. So, sound is still perfect. Thanks, Will. You the man. So, you know, if I can use those suggestions, then that makes it easier. I don't always use them, because sometimes I can come up with enough myself. There's this really, I like this old joke about... what was it? An SEO expert walks into a pub, bar, watering hole, you know, nightclub. The joke being he's using all the synonyms for bar, right? And so I think I can do that relatively well. I do have a university degree. My degree is in political science, and so I joke that I'm basically a walking thesaurus, because otherwise it's not a very useful degree. And so, you know, I think I can do that side of SEO, but sometimes I struggle with certain videos. And you know, here's I did this as a quick video on Instagram, And this is why I want to have 1,000 subscribers on this channel, so I can do quick videos live from my phone on this channel. But here's a tip. If you don't follow Small YouTubers Boost on Instagram, you might have missed. Your title should appear in its entirety in the description. Just going to let that sink in for a second. If you're not doing that, do that. And then your title, depending on how it's formatted, probably in its entirety, should also be its own tag. Because think about it. It's your title. It's in the description. It's one of your tags. You're very likely to rank for that term, as long as it's more than just like 2 or 3 words, generally speaking. And looking at this video that I'm looking at begins with, in the title, "We almost died." Right? Now we're going to go down and look at the description. Oh, for criminy. They didn't put it... How did... Breathe. I'm sure small YouTubers feel this frustration where they see giant successful channels and it's like, you're not even doing the simple little things the best way. Come on. Jealousy is a struggle for YouTubers, I think, especially when you're doing this kind of research on something similar to yourself. It's hard to put the jealousy aside and focus. So they don't mention it in the description. In fact, the description doesn't describe the video, which is a pet peeve of mine. It's such a missed opportunity. Like, this person has 5 million subscribers and I want to help them because there are more things they could be doing. They could be more successful than they are with just a few tweaks. All it takes, highlight the title, Control C, go into the description, Control V, save, and it is now better. And also Control V into the tags, because then you're more likely to rank for that. But nevertheless, and the reason this is doing so well is because it has 4 million views, 21,000 comments, and don't underestimate the value of comments. 78,000 likes, all this interaction. So that's part of why it's doing so well in ranking the term "We almost died." But it's the beginning of the title. First 3 words of the title, it's its own tag that comes up number 2. Speaking of things you can do, commenting on other videos is good. Don't go and just say, "Hey, I subscribed, sub me back." That is against YouTube's policies and can get your channel shut down, and frankly should. But even just say like, "Oh, hey, great content, check out my video." It's like, well, you could have written that about anything. It's obviously spam. Don't do that kind of stuff. It's obnoxious, and frankly, it won't help you. But if you can ask a question, make an observation, say something funny or witty, make a recommendation, something that gives value, even if it's entertainment value or something, to the experience of the creator and their audience, then you've got something. If you write a funny comment, someone's like, "Hey, that's funny. This person's funny. I want to go check out their channel. Maybe their channel's funny." Or this provided really useful information, this comment. Maybe they got good information on their channel. I'm going to go check that out. So commenting on videos that you watch, I mean, more so in your niche, but anywhere really. But do it from a place of providing some kind of value. And don't even mention your channel, really. Unless you're like, "Oh, same thing happened to me." You could say that. Don't say, "Same thing happened to me, check out my video." That's the point where it becomes self-promotion and obnoxious. But you'd be like, "Hey, when this happened to me, I felt like this. Here's a good thing to try in the future." Like, I don't know this video, I haven't watched it, but if I would be, if I were to watch it, and if I thought it appropriate and useful, I might say something like, I have a couple recommendations about how to stay calm in turbulence on a plane with my travel channel. I actually talk about it in my most recent podcast. I'll probably put a tip video about that up. And so I might comment there, "Oh, hey, if you find yourself in a scary plane situation, here's a couple recommendations." And so then they might go and look at my channel that way. If you can get in early, that's good. Let's talk time frames for a second here, shall we? There's some time frames on YouTube that are critical. And we'll go from the short to the long. The first hour of a video's life is critical. This results in something that is called view velocity. That's actually from, I think, some of the white papers on the algorithm, so we know this. The first hour of views, these are generally people who are subscribed with notifications on, or just some of the first people to encounter it. So that first hour of views and the watch time that it generates, absolutely critical, as well as the comments and the likes that drives. The next thing is sort of the 2-hour mark. This is something that Roberto Blake has talked about a little bit, but the idea is that within that 2 hours, the interactions are really key. So within that 2 hours, you're going to want to hopefully have someone comment. You're hopefully going to be able to pin that comment. You can only pin one per video. Hopefully you're going to click heart or, love, like, whatever you call it, on that comment. Well, like is something different than hearting. But, the heart and heart, love, whatever, and then a thumbs up as well. And reply to that comment. And so one of the things that Roberto Blake talks about, for example, and this actually kind of came up. Someone posted in the Facebook group the other day, what prevents you from uploading every day? And one of the things that I talked about is I said, well, I got a day job, so I can't post at the optimal time. And when you post, you need to do a social media sharing blitz right after you post because of that view velocity. The people who watch it in the first hour are critically important. If you've got friends and family, maybe on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or whatever, and maybe you've mentioned the story, like my today's video about us nearly, getting into a car accident on the highway. My friend that was the driver had mentioned it to a bunch of people, and they actually all said he was lying. And so he was like, could you release the video so I can show these fools that this is actually what happened? But there's an audience that's waiting there. And I mentioned it to a couple of friends and coworkers. And so once the video went live, I did some social media sharing. And then I also messaged a couple people on like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, people who knew the video was coming, that I have a relationship with. I'm not spamming people. But I sent that to them in the hopes that they would watch it pretty early on. So that first hour view is critical. First 2 hours, it's about comments. So what you should do with the first 2 hours of a video after publishing is try to be available to interact with anyone who comments on the video. So you can go in and right away, thumbs up, heart, pin the best comment or the first good comment is what I do. And then reply to pretty much everything and get that conversation going, get those interactions happening within the first 2 hours. I mean, if you could do more than 2 hours, or just keep an eye on your channel, generally that's good. Smaller channels, it's easier to do. But as you start getting traction and maybe it becomes less manageable, just like what Roberto Blake says is, he says, I post my video and I clear my schedule for the next 2 hours, so I just sit down and I interact with my audience. And that I think is a good thing to do. The next important time frame is the 24-hour period. 24 hours after your video is first published is a critical time frame because it allows for correcting for all time zones, basically. It's like that first hour, but for all time zones, because you might have subscribers with notifications turned on the other side of the world. So if I'm posting something, here in Vancouver at like, well, let's see, right now, for example, it's like almost 2:30. Well, that's 7:30 in the morning in Australia, for example, in Sydney. So, if I have a good audience or a loyal, that word loyal, I'll rant about that another day. But if I have an audience, say in Australia, they could be asleep and they might not catch it. Because it's Saturday here, it's Sunday there, they'll probably sleep in, they're probably not up at 7:20 in the morning. So that allows for 24 hours. So that everyone who's subscribed with notifications on, whether they're sleeping or working or whatever commitment they have throughout the day, have probably had an opportunity to watch your video. And so that first 24 hours is a key metric there as well for the algorithm to see how successful it anticipates the video to be. If it works well with your audience, it'll probably work better with other audiences too. I will now show it to more people. Then the next time frame that's important is the week, 7 days. Let's see if we can find an example here of something new. Here we go. Do we have something a little less political? Yeah, we do. Okay, I'm just going to put it at the top of the window here. So you'll see in the recommended videos on the right-hand side here, let me just make sure that that's showing up properly. Yeah, should be. You will see the 50 updates Mojang won't add in Minecraft, but you'll see here there is a new little tag, little button, whatever you want to call it, says new. Gray on gray on gray. That will be there for the first 7 days. So this is a time frame where the YouTube algorithm is like, you know what? I'm still learning about your video. I'm still collecting data. It is a hungry, hungry hippo for data. It wants to eat all the information it can to learn about and hopefully increase its confidence that it knows what your video is about and how successful it's likely to be. So for the first week, it'll show it to more people and give it a chance so it can collect that information. What's the click-through rate on this for non-subscribers, for example? It wants that information. And so it has to show the thumbnail to non-subscribers to collect that information. So after that first week, it then kind of sits back for like an instant and says, okay, this was a click-through rate with subscribers, non-subscribers. Maybe I'll show it more to subscribers and non-subscribers. You know, the average watch time was 2 minutes versus, you know, other things with the same title, which is 10. So maybe I won't favor it for that. This kind of information. So it's still in the getting to know you phase for the first 7 days. After the first 7 days, it's largely made up its mind and it's a lot harder to influence. You can kind of reset some of those metrics by changing the thumbnail, the title, the description, and tags. Or if suddenly there's a view spike that comes externally or for whatever, who knows what reason, then that can be good. And so it might take another look at it, but it's really the first hour for views, the first 2 hours for comment interaction, and then the first 24 hours and first week for click-through, views, and watch time. Those are all the important time frames. Just so you're aware. Let's see here. Jealousy for me too, says Will. Yeah. And again, that's the thing about like practicing gratitude. I find is helpful. I think gratitude is the opposite of jealousy. Maybe not exactly, but kind of. And so it's just something for my own mental well-being, mental health, whatever you want to call it. Try to be like, you know, yeah, you know, that's hey, this video over here is amazing. I'm also really blessed to have found whatever success I've found. But how can I learn to have more success and help more people, which is ultimately my goal. Interaction is king to a degree. I would argue that anticipated watch time is the king, and interaction is like one of the princes. Or like anticipated watch time is the kingpin, and interaction is like a lieutenant. The admiral is, you get it. You get the idea. Talking of times, do you find posting on a certain day makes any impact on your views, or is every day of the week same to you? That is a fantastic question. I'm going to do a thing here. I think I'm just going to show you some of my analytics. Just give me a second. I need to set it up in a separate window before I share it with y'all. Because there's certain things about monetization that you're not supposed to display, so I want to bypass that, so I don't get in any trouble. Just bear with me here. I'm going to focus on views. Click on views and it takes you to watch time. That is so YouTube. All right, yeah, I think we can start from here. This doesn't show any dollar amounts. So I will now take over my main browser with this link. And let's go for 7 days. Last 7 days. So this is my channel, Vacation Impossible. These are the views per day over the period of a week. And so, you know, it's relatively stable. Looks like it was the 18th that was my highest viewed day for the week, which was a Sunday. And the next highest was the 17th, which is a Saturday. And yeah, this matches my understanding. Whether I'm looking at my real-time analytics or going back over time, for my channel, I do a little better on weekends. But this could be a correlation, not a causation, because I tend to release videos on weekends. I have found that my videos tend to do better if I release them between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific time. That's just my personal experience. I'm in the travel niche. My audience is averaged age 25 to 44, and they're primarily American. So take of that what you will. 80% of the American viewing audience is in the Eastern time zone, for example. So that's something to consider if you have or are targeting an American audience. So that's sort of the situation for me. And so 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. on a weekday is normally when I'm working. So is it the fact that more people watch travel videos on the weekend, or is it just the fact that I release videos more often on the weekend? I'm not sure. There's definitely a relationship there, and so I try to use it synergistically. Also, looking at my real-time stats, I can kind of see, and this is a good one. So you can see how there's peaks and valleys. So ideally, you want to have one of two strategies for the time of day you release your video. One is at the end of the valley, so that your video can ride the peak of viewership up throughout the day. That's if you're focusing on that first 24 hours, gives you a good boost at the beginning. and so you spend a lot of time in this peak, and so you get more views. That having been said, the other school of thought is view velocity, where that first hour is critical. And so in that case, you know, here it looks like, oh my gosh, that's early. In that first philosophy I was talking about, that suggests publishing the video, gosh, around 5 or 6 a.m. I'm not doing that. I want to be successful at YouTube. Again, I'm at 6 in the morning to publish a video. And yes, I know I can schedule videos. I'll talk about that in a second. So the other thing is, if you care a lot about view velocity, you might want to try and publish it during your most popular times, so that first hour does well. In this case, I'd be looking at publishing between, say, really? 11 a.m. and 11 p.m., apparently. Looks like 11 a.m. is really kind of the magic hour for my channel on weekends. Not necessarily, this is going back into Thursday here. So it depends on the strategy you want to take. There's no one correct answer, but hey, let's maybe have some intentionality behind what we're doing. We might be more successful. Experiment a little, see what works well. But also, so many data points, it's hard to really piece together where success and failure comes from, because there's so many things going into it. Maybe it was just a more interesting video. Maybe the thumbnail is just a little brighter or better or whatever. And so people like to tell me is like, oh, Ray, but you can schedule your upload at any time. Yeah, you can, but there's a couple things about that, and this is probably the last thing I'm going to be talking about today. You can schedule your upload, but remember what I was just talking about. You want to be around for those 2 hours to interact with the audience in those first early comments, to get that interactivity going and give good signs to the algorithm. Give the algo some love. And also you want to do the social sharing, to which I often hear, but you can schedule posts on Facebook. Yeah, here's the thing when you do that. I haven't done it in a while, but this was the problem. I've tried this. When you schedule a post on Facebook, linking to a YouTube video that has not yet gone public, it doesn't pull the thumbnail in the preview. And so it doesn't look as good. You could upload the thumbnail as its own image, but still some of the preview stuff, the functionality, it doesn't seem to display correctly. And you need third-party things to schedule stuff on, like, Twitter. And you can. There's something called If This Then That, which you can look up, and you can automatically set things to, like, pull your Instagram picture and then post it as if it was a native tweet with the picture on Twitter. So there's some automated things you could set up there. But there are so many social media places, and I try to bet on all the horses. You know, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Reddit, I'm on, and I've got a list. I got an Excel file where I actually go through all the places I'm on. You know, I'm on Tumblr, I'm on Flickr, I'm on something called Vero, which most people haven't even heard of yet. I'm on Snapchat, but I'm not sure how to use it correctly. So anyways, I'm on a lot of things. And so the amount of pre-scheduling that would go into sharing it across all those places, where instead if I just, you know, share it to Pinterest as soon as it publishes, that I find works better for me. So it's not just as easy and as simple as using the, you know, schedule the time it goes public. There's a lot more to it than that if you're trying to have all of the stars align for that publishing moment. The moment a video goes live, kind of an important moment, and you want to be there to support it. So anyways, it's 10:30 at night in the UK right now. Good example. So people here will be missing this notification. Appreciate the insight into the analytics. That's awesome. So I'm probably going to wrap things up. Didn't have a huge amount of time for today, but I'm very glad that I was able to go live for a bit. This is fun for me. I enjoy it. Spilling my guts about, you know, my channel and trying to give some tips and all that kind of stuff. So thanks so much for joining. If you, you know, I like to, you know, my channel is Vacation Impossible, so I try to end with a challenge. I'm going to be completely self-serving in this one. Your challenge, my challenge to you, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to go watch my video on Vacation Impossible, where we almost died driving through a storm. It's self-serving, whatever, self-promotion is part of the game. But also, it does have some important tips about driving through storms. And so I do kind of want to get that message out there, because if you don't know what hydroplaning is, if you don't know, you know, some of the biggest risks of driving through a storm, and we can tell you about it, maybe you know, it'll be helpful for you one day. So that's my challenge. Go watch my video. Normally it's a challenge about things that you can that you can do. But I've shown you a lot of things. For a real challenge, maybe here's a thing. Go and find an underperforming video of yours that you know in your heart could do better. Search that exact term with TubeBuddy installed in your browser and go see what kind of tags the more successful videos are using, how they're being shared on Twitter and Reddit. There's one that's more practical for you. Will says, have a great weekend. Have a great weekend to you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do. Click like on the live stream so other people can, you know, enjoy this once it's visible for rewatching. And yeah, this has been a blast. Subscribe with notifications on because I'm not always able to give a lot of warning about these live streams. This way you'll get a notification. First people in chat are the first people to get their questions answered. Sometimes this can be really busy, really popular. Get 20 people wanting a channel review, and I very rarely get through them all. So that's an advantage to you and to me. So there you go. This has been my live stream. This live stream will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Thanks for watching.